Tuesday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroy Nation. We're coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. Happy Tuesday to you. It is a happy Tuesday. Fresh off for 4 hours on 1210 WPHT this morning. One more hour with you here on LFA TV. Rumble.com/LFA TV. As we've said a number of times, you listen on audio, get over to Rumble, rumble.com/LFA TV. Of course, if you want to watch the show live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time every single day, we got a couple of good fun stories for you today. It is Vote No Day in Virginia. Today is the 21st day of April. It is Referendum Day in Virginia. Polymarket and the other prediction markets out there have an 85% chance of the referendum passing in Virginia. Not good. We don't want that. But, you know, we got to be realistic as well. The Democrats came out in the 2025 elections and outvoted Republicans, right? Outvoted Republicans. And unfortunately, you know, this is what happens when Republicans don't vote, when they check out. Oh, I'm done. I'm going to, Epstein files. I'm not voting. Okay, you're gonna give the Democrats a blank check on power. Is that what you want? Is that better? I don't think so, but some people do think so. So the political rookies out there who are like, "Oh, Epstein files. I don't like it. I don't like the way it was the war in Iran." And listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. Now, we're 7 days out of the Iran war being 2 months old. I'm kind of getting tired of it. Okay, but I'm not going to check out. I'm not going to say, oh, well, this war in Iran's going on for way too long. I'm not voting. Of course I'm going to vote. I'm going to participate. I'd like to see it wrap up sooner rather than later. I'd like to believe the administration does too. We were told, 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. I'd like for it to not go on longer than that. We'll see what happens. There's the deadline is now tomorrow evening. Again. Okay? But I'm kind of worn out by the Iran thing. We trust them, we don't trust them, we're negotiating, we don't negotiate, the strait's open, the strait's closed, and there's different dynamics as to why that's happening. It's an indicator that there's fractured leadership in Iran. That's totally fine. We talked about this yesterday and a couple days ago. Totally fine. I'm not saying that we just tuck tail and leave, but let's be honest. Let us be completely honest because I feel like there's a lot of dishonesty going on both sides with this Iran war. The longer this goes on, the worse it is. Right? And it's worse for Iran than it is for us. Yeah, but it's also pretty bad for us too, in terms of the political aspirations and midterms and things. You had Russ Vought yesterday, kind of make an admission that's not good. Saying gas probably won't go down below national average, so you have to take into account places like California and New York. Won't go down below $3 a gallon until next year. Again, I'm not voting just on gas prices. I'm not saying that's what I'm just telling you the normies out there are not going to be happy. So something's got to give in Iran. Something. And I know that there's broader implications, China, Russia, other, geopolitical alliances that are hanging in the balance. Something's got to give. I'm just being honest. I will never encourage people to stop voting. I will never encourage people to check out. But I'm getting a little worn out with this war. I support our troops. I will always support our troops. And to Belinda Allen, who says, I don't care about the normies. You need the normies to win elections. I'm sorry. You do. I hope this thing resolves soon. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. All right? I would never encourage people to vote Democrat. This is going to be great now, having that taken out of context all day. Oh, you don't want the war to continue? You must hate the president. I don't. I would like the war to resolve. I think we all want the war to resolve. I don't think that's unreasonable. Let's get it done. Let's figure it out. Maybe tomorrow is Power Plant and Bridge Day, and that's how the regime crumbles. Unfortunately, I think we're in this situation with Iran. Okay? Unfortunately, I think we're in this situation with Iran. Unless the regime is gone, the Islamic Republic, I don't think you're going to see much change in the region. And there's only really two ways you could get the regime out of there. Either the Iranian people have to rise up, and they are terrified, rightfully so, or there's got to be boots on the ground. And I don't want to see boots on the ground. So we'll see. Or you power plant bridges and everything crumbles. We'll see what happens. I think let's try the blockade. How much longer can they withstand this blockade? All I'm going to tell you is, me personally, I'm getting tired of it. I'm just happy that Americans aren't dying, right? The 13 have, but over the past couple of weeks, Americans haven't died. I want it resolved soon. I'll give him a little longer than 8 weeks, but we gotta get it done. And I know he's got an appetite for Cuba, and I think Cuba is a much different situation than Iran there. It's a little different over there, but I would like to see it resolved. That's all. I'm not going to come out here and tell you the president's a failure and that Iran won. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm just telling you. And I think most of us, whether you want to admit it or not, I'm right, and you agree with me that you'd want this resolved. It is a ball and chain right now. So, there's some positive developments. Maybe we get a deal. Maybe the regime does fall. Maybe the blockade works. It's not all doom and gloom. I'm just telling you, I'm getting a little worn out with the war. All right. We tried to, as Winky said, too bad we can't arm their citizens. We tried to arm their citizens and gave the weapons to the Kurds, and the Kurds stole the weapons. So it's the Middle East. It's just a disaster. I will say this. When we talk about boots on the ground, I've heard the conversation, well, if we're putting boots on the ground, who else is putting boots on the ground? Israel said they're not putting boots on the ground. So if Israel's not putting boots on the ground, we're not putting boots on the ground. I think that's fair. Anyway, let's rock and roll, and we'll get into this Virginia redistricting fight today, because that is a huge, huge ballot measure today. Virginia redistricting, and unfortunately, there's an overwhelming chance that it passes, and you wind up going from 6-5 down to 10-1, and this is the price that Republicans pay for being Republicans. It's going to be harsh. And now you're going to feel like you're getting beat over the head with a 2x4. But the message has to get through. Once every 4 years is not enough. And it's like, well, Virginia's a blue state. Really? Because the previous governor was a Republican. Glenn Youngkin. Glenn Youngkin won. Now, granted, he ran against an opponent who said parents have no right to a say in their child's education and crazy stuff like that. But Glenn Youngkin won. Okay? Glenn Youngkin won. Virginia can go red. How the hell does Abigail Spanberger win by 10 to 20 points in November of 2025? It's because, and I warned against this in the whole year of 2025. We won the 2024 election, and there was a lot of chest beating going on. It's not about one election every 4 years. I'm hoping there was a wake-up call. We'll see what happens tonight. I'll even say this. As a consolation prize, and even if you want to call it a cope. If we see the referendum in Virginia pass, but it only passes by like 3 points, I would take that as a positive indicator. Still a bad outcome, but a positive indicator. But if you see a 7.5 point win, a Jay Jones type margin of victory like Chase Bowes had predicted, it's not a good sign. In Virginia, we got to be better at waking people up. We're not doing enough in the real world. We're not. All right. We're going to get into why, Tim Kaine giving you the redistricting mumbo jumbo. We've got a lot coming up here on the show today. But before we do that, I want to get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. OFP Farms Mother's Day gift boxes are more than just a gift. They are an experience. This Mother's Day, give mom more than a gift. Give her a moment to feel pampered and truly treasured. At OFP Farms, every product is handcrafted right here on the farm using fresh goat milk and grass-fed tallow. Rich, nourishing ingredients her skin will love. It's more than skincare. It's a daily reminder that she deserves to slow down, care for herself, and feel appreciated. Now, for a limited time, you're going to enjoy 20% off of your entire order with the code Shawn, SHAWN, at checkout. Clean ingredients, small batches, real results from OFP Farms to your mama's skin, because mom deserves to feel this good every single day. OFPfarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 20% off the Mother's Day gift box. Take a look at this cute video from the farm, OFPfarms.com. OFPfarms.com, promo code SHAWN. That's OFPfarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 20% off of their Mother's Day, or 20% off during the Mother's Day sale. It runs up until Mother's Day. All right. Tim Kaine, remember Hillary's running mate? Tim Kaine? He's a senator from Virginia, Democrat senator from Virginia, had said the quiet part out loud with regards to why Virginia feels it must redistrict. It is not about properly allocating congressional representation. It is not about, the idea that, it's a blue state, so we should have, but you already had more Democrats than Republicans in Congress. What is the one thing that the Democrats are good at? What is their main issue? What is the Democrats' main issue? Anyone remember? Donald Trump. Donald Trump, yes.
Oh.
Donald Trump is the Democrats' main issue. And so, that is what Tim Kaine admits here. Listen.
Listen, let's talk about the last vote there in Virginia, the presidential vote. Vice President Kamala Harris won by about 5 percentage points. So this state is relatively split with a left lean, but 90% of House members from Virginia being from one party?
90% of Virginians are not Democrats. That's true.
Correct.
But about 100% of Virginians want election results to be respected. We're deeply worried that Donald Trump will try to interfere with the election results this November or in 2028, because we saw him do it before. And we have to have a Congress that will stand up to it. In 2021, all 5 Republicans in Virginia went along with Donald Trump in his effort to overturn election results. And so we're giving Virginians a chance to vote, which Republican states have not done, about whether they want to have a congressional delegation that will stand up against Donald Trump's team.
Aha. So you're trying to essentially rig the midterms in Congress against the Trump agenda. All right, fine. I mean, at least he's being honest. That's all I can say to Tim Kaine and about what Tim Kaine said. At least he's being honest. At least he's being honest. All right, the ballot measure before the state's voters, if it was approved, would amend Virginia's constitution to give Democratic majority General Assembly temporary power, of course. Always, there's no such thing as a temporary, by the way, power when it comes to government. They just take it and run. Remember, like temporary protected status, and you have the Dignity Act. Republicans voting to allow the Haitians to stay here, extend their temporary protected status, extend temporary. Do you see the theme here? Proposed map, if enacted, would likely take the Commonwealth's congressional Democrats from a 6-5 advantage to a 10-1 advantage, netting them 4 seats in the 2026 midterms. Tuesday is the election day. That is today, the last day Virginians can go vote to determine the fate of that referendum. In 2024, the state's voters were almost evenly divided in the presidential race. Kamala Harris won by just 5 or so points. Even with the state leaning left, it's still relatively split down the middle. But 90% of House members from Virginia are going to be from one party if this measure passes. If you are in Virginia, you got to get out and you got to vote no today. And you got to bring friends to the polls today. Matter of fact, if you're listening to this in Virginia right now, turn it off. Go get your car, clean it out, and fill it with voters and bring them to the polls all day long. I don't want you wasting an hour's worth of time. This is how important the Virginia referendum, the redistricting referendum is. This is how important it is. You've got to dedicate a ton of time. We should have been dedicating more time to it. The crazy part is I don't even see people talking about it. So I believe it's going to fail, but that it's going to pass, that Republican efforts to push back on this is going to fail. I don't see enough people talking about it. I saw Obama. I saw these people say, oh, you got to go vote yes, go vote yes, go. I didn't see any. I've seen Chase, Scott Pressler. We've said a little about it. I've seen a few others talk about it. I've seen other ones. Everyone's still talking about Israel. Do you understand that that's a psyop? Everyone always looks for distractions. That crowd, it's a distraction. People are still hyper fixating on the what Erica Kirk is like. Just this is way more important than all that gossip crap. Okay, and I know I dive into gossip and the Tucker Carlson stuff in the world, but this battle right here, this is where like your long-term victories are won in these dogfights. And unfortunately, what we are really good at is doing the whole big tent thing and coalescing and going into elections, presidential elections with a coalition and winning those. But then once that happens, it's like we act like the job is done for 4 years. I know it's not an easy lifestyle. It's not. It's not. Politics is brutal. Campaigning is tiring. It is brutal. It is stressful. It's long days. It's short nights. It's a grind. It's not easy. But it can be easier than it is if we go the many hands make light work, too big to rig approach in every election, not just once every 4 years. I have been saying this since 2022. And I'm not saying that I'm the one who discovered this problem. This has been going on for a long time. The difference is I've been in the trenches for the last 6 years. We're in the trenches now in a sheriff's race. Door knocking. We're at the early voting locations with the signs. We're going to campaign events, GOP meetings, school board stuff as well. If we want to win, we got to act like it. And unfortunately, Republicans, after presidential elections, act like we elected a king and that he can just do anything he wants. He'll sign executive orders and everything's going to be just fine. No. That's part of the battle. But that is not the overall war. Virginia can go red. Virginia can vote right. Glenn Youngkin proved that a very short time ago. It's possible. You just have to stay engaged. I don't want to hear excuses. Oh, it's spring break. That's why they scheduled it for spring break. And then if it wasn't in spring break and it was in August, well, it's summer break. And then if it wasn't in summer break and it was in February, oh, it's winter break. There's always an excuse. Stop making excuses. We've got to be better at getting people in. I can only scream into this microphone so much. And the other commentators who are doing this, the Bonginos, the Levins of the world, and so on and so forth, who are trying to be activists behind the microphone and in the real world, can only do so much. We need to spread the word. We've got to use word of mouth. We've got to do more. 6 years or so, myself and so many other people who I know have run themselves ragged trying to do this. Many hands make light work. We'll all be a little less ragged if we all join up and stay engaged and keep going. You live on the coast, before you go to the beach over one day in the summer, make sure there's no election that day, please. I'm not saying you can't enjoy your life and that it's got to be 24/7, but we've got to, as Republicans, we've got to put forth a better effort at knowing these things. This is why we do the first of the month rule here on the show. This is why I do that. We make the joke. We go on a Google machine and we do. I say this all the time, whether I'm in front of rooms full of real people or I'm online or I'm on the radio or whatever. Oh, your videos get millions of views. I don't care if my stuff is getting millions of views. I want millions of views to turn into millions of votes. I don't care about views. I don't care about clicks. It doesn't matter. If it all went away tomorrow, I would be fine with it. I just want to win elections, and we're not winning elections because we're, for some reason, detached from where these elections are. But the other side isn't. And I get that they cheat. I understand that. But folks, there's not 10 points worth of election fraud. It's like 2 points or 3 points, tops. So take the fraud out. You still lost by 7. It's not something to feel good about. We've got to get involved. Who said the machines are the problem? I'm sorry, T-Man 1202. If the machines were the problem, why did Donald Trump win the 2024 election when the machines were still in place? This is the type of stuff that is demoralizing language. Okay, let me calm down. I'm not telling you that I like the machines. I don't. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm not saying I want to vote on machines. You know what I want to do. I want to vote hand count, paper ballots, one day, no machines, and very, 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 very tight rules on mail-in ballots. Military, American voters overseas, or documented disabilities that prevent you from getting to the polls. This Linwood line of thinking that the machines are rigging elections is a demoralization op to make you think that your vote does not matter. They are not perfect. Nothing is perfect. But if the machines were the problem, then Donald Trump would not be president. Case closed. Case closed. A lot of voting machines in 2024 election. Okay? Early voting. Early voting is another one. I don't like that we have it, but I like that there's a very, very good way to use it. We voted in our sheriff's election last Friday. Why? Because now that we're done voting, we don't have to worry about, hey, we have to go vote on May 5th. We're done. Everything's open. If someone needs a ride to the polls on May 5th and they're not at our polling place, I can go give them a ride. And not have to worry about, well, if I take you to the polls, how am I going to vote? Our vote's in the bank. The new op now is this nothing is happening op. What do you mean nothing is happening? And let me explain something. Nothing. Nothing means no things. It's literally the word. Nothing is happening, right? Would you say that going from hundreds of thousands of people coming in per month to our country over that border to zero is nothing? Go ahead and answer me that question. Is that nothing? Then the answer is no, that's not nothing. That's something. Okay, then you're wrong. Then retract your statement that nothing is happening. The Dignity Act, it's not going to pass. It's not. And it's not getting signed into law. I don't like to say, I don't like the fact that it's being pushed from the Republican Party. It's not going to pass. It's not. We have got to take into these elections, whether it's Virginia, whether it's these special elections that we're seeing across the country, whether it's the midterms in November, the too big to rig mindset. I know what you want. You know what I want. We want the same things with our elections. We want same-day voting, paper ballots, hand count, no machines, no early voting, election day, not election season, restrictions on mail-in ballots. But we can't get that overnight. So screaming and yelling, oh, I want all these things. It's good to want those things, but those things can't happen unless we stack a series of wins together. You will not get same-day voting, no absentee ballot, hand count, paper ballots, no machines. You won't get any of that if we win a presidential election, lose midterms, lose the White House, win the midterms maybe after you lose the White House. You're not going to get, you've got to stack a series. I'm talking 4 to 5 election cycles in a row if you want those changes. 5 election cycles in a row is 10 years. Are you ready to commit to 10 years? We've done half of it already, 2020 to now. If you want something like the Save America Act passed, we may have to go and get 60 Republican senators so that there's enough Republicans after the fall off of rhinos that will still vote to nuke the filibuster. That after nuking the filibuster and a couple of others fall off, there's still enough to pass the SAVE Act. It's a numbers game. And if we're not willing to put as many numbers on the board every time there's an election, then we're not going to win in the long term. That's just a harsh reality. I believe it's possible, but we got to do a better job as Republicans. And I'm not talking about the folks in the chat. You're here every day. You're engaged. You're the hardcore. We as Republicans, as a national party. Now, I'm not talking about the RNC. I'm talking about Republican voters, us, the Republican voter umbrella, either Republican voters or Republican-leaning independents, have got to do a better job of caring, being aware, informing others, and always in some way, shape, or form, actively campaigning and never letting your foot up off the gas. Because that is what the other side does. We laugh at them. We mock them. They do the singing thing. Cory Booker's an idiot. We got plenty of videos there. But they vote. We don't. What's up with that? That's got to change. All right. Sorry to be brutal, but I'm not going to tell you. It's not a Disney movie. Everything's going to be okay. It isn't unless we get our act together. This could have a good ending or a bad ending. It's our choice. It's our choice. All right. Let me take a drink here.
Oh, Badman wants you to honk Mo because there's been 2 days in a row-ish.
Okay,
800
here.
at the very end.
I'll give you one. You give me Mo.
Okay.
You give me Mo again today, we'll honk him a bunch of times. All right. Let's get to a word from our friends over at Cove Pure. We love our Cove Pure unit. I know a lot of people have ordered a Cove Pure, so I want to say thank you, first of all, to everybody who has ordered a unit. That obviously helps us out a lot, so we appreciate that. And we hope you enjoy it. It's a pretty cool unit. We have it on our countertop. We use it every day, so it has been great. Most people don't know. Most people know that there's chlorine in their tap water, right? That's not like up for debate. We know there's chlorine in it. You can smell it. You've seen it, but then you say, whatever. It is what it is. It keeps the water safe. What they haven't been told is what the chlorine becomes after it's added to your water. And what I found out is one of the reasons why we filter all of our water through our Cove Pure unit. Chlorine itself is not the biggest problem. Chlorine levels in your water are regulated. That's true. But what's not regulated is the chemicals that form when chlorine reacts with naturally occurring organic matter in your water. Particles from rivers, soil, plant matter that make it through the treatment process. It creates chemical byproducts called THMs. The government itself calls THMs probable human carcinogens, and they have been linked to disruption of your gut and linked to cancer. Those pitcher filters you get at the store, that's not going to fix the problem. They'll improve the taste of the chlorinated water. But THMs require something far more powerful, and that is exactly what Cove Pure is. Their clear wave reverse osmosis technology is certified to remove up to 99.9% of contaminants. It's not just chlorine or THMs. It takes out fluoride, PFAs, pharmaceuticals. If it isn't water, Cove Pure removes it. Now, this unit that we've got actually put some of the beneficial minerals back into the water after everything has been stripped out. So you get the calcium, you get the magnesium, goes back in, so you're not just drinking empty water, which is something that a lot of reverse osmosis machines don't do. Clean water is one of the best investments that you can make for your family's health. And because I've partnered with Cove Pure, they're giving you $250 off if you use my link right now. Go to covepure.com/Sean. That's COVEPURE.com/Sean, SHAWN. Don't wait. Covepure.com/Sean for $250 off. $250 off of your Cove Pure unit. You're going to love this thing. It's quiet, it's easy to install, no plumbing, just plug it in, fill the tank, drop it in, and the machine does the rest of the work. It's very, very simple. It's also got the pitcher. You could pour it out. You don't have to use the dispense function. It's really cool. Covepure.com/SHAWN for $250 off. All right. Donald Trump says a ceasefire extension is highly unlikely if there is no deal by Wednesday night. And he expects that bombs will start to go off again if there's no deal. Okay? I'm fine with trying to bomb the Iranians into submission. We're in the conflict. We've got to at least reach a resolution on the nuclear material. If they're not ready to sign a deal or to make an agreement to turn over their enriched uranium, then we have to make them ready. We've got to hit them hard. There's no two ways about it. However, what I want the administration to be careful of is if you're telling the American people that the objective is the nuclear material, which I'm fine with, I think it's justified. I think that's the right path of action because under no circumstances can you trust Iran with a nuclear weapon. You cannot. You cannot. You say, well, you trust Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un is not a religious fanatic, is he? He's not a Muslim extremist, is he? No. A little different. He's a crazy guy. But he's a little different, and I believe Kim Jong-un at least respects the idea of mutually assured destruction, which is what kept the Soviets at bay, what has kept China at bay, during the Cold War with, the USSR and the United States. Mutually assured destruction was one of the biggest deterrents. Iran doesn't care about that. Their whole thing is if they go out, they want to take out a chunk of us with them. And then them, that's justifying, it's martyrdom. That's the way they are. Okay, it's a theocracy. They're religious fanatics over there in Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. I'm 100% on board with that. Okay, so if we've got to do what we've got to do, bombs, blockades, a presence over there until they turn over the enriched uranium, even if it goes on longer than I would have wanted, ultimately Iran gets to decide when they're turning over their nukes. Right? It's up to them. And unfortunately, they seem to be holding out longer than I think many people anticipated. What I want to be careful of, is the new objective. Okay? What is the new objective? I'm saying that as an item, not as a specific thing. Well, let's say we get the nuclear stuff out. All right, we got the nuclear material out. They don't have any more uranium. Their facilities have been destroyed. But now there's, shiny object over here. Let's just go get this done now then we'll leave. And when you get that objective, well, let's get this one done and then we'll leave. And new things keep popping up and now you get stuck. That's what I don't want to see. And that's what I've been concerned about since the beginning. The new objective. Oh, something else popped up and now we have to address that before we leave. Well, I thought it was about the nukes. I'm not saying that that's happening now. I'm saying the threat is high for that to happen because that happens a lot. And if you watch a lot of Fox News and you see this General Jack Keane, he's already talking like that. I don't know what type of sway or power he has with the administration. Well, unless you get rid of the regime, it's not going to fix anything. Well, I mean, I kind of agree with that, but what are you're going to have a lot of Americans dead if you have a boots on the ground invasion in Iran to take down that regime and to change that regime. I'm just saying we're getting close to the 2-month period. I want the nuclear material out, and then I want to get the hell out of there. You take the uranium out, that's your win. You've accomplished your military objectives. You've destroyed their drone producing capabilities. You've destroyed their ballistic missile capabilities. You got the nuclear material out. Their navy's at the bottom of the ocean. There is no reason for us to stay if we can get that nuclear material out. And the quicker we do it, the better. And you all know I'm right. I don't care if you want to admit it or you don't want to admit it. You feel like you might be being disloyal to the president. You're not. Because I think Donald Trump would tell you he wants to get out of there. Because he knows that this war and the gas price situation, I don't care. I don't drive that much. It doesn't impact me. We work from home. But it's not. I was listening to Wilkow say this yesterday. I'm not going to tell people to vote Democrat. But you see the price at the pump. You're going to start seeing the Trump I did that stickers on the... I'm not saying it's the right thing. You're going to start seeing that happen. And you know what happened when the Biden stickers came out. We were putting them on the gas pumps. You get rid of this... You get rid of their nuclear material and you get out. Bob the comedian says we lose the midterms if prices are too high. Yes. Yes. Folks, that's just the way it works. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that's what is. And if we get tied up with the popping up there's a new objective here. Let me go take care of this one now. No good. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm saying I'm concerned. It's a concern. I'm not saying we're in a forever war. Because we're not. Not yet, and hopefully not ever. But you have to admit, the possibility exists. I don't think Trump wants to do that. I don't think Pete Hegseth wants to do that. I'll tell you who does want to do that, and that's Iran. Iran wants to do that because if Iran does that, they're damaging President Trump. They're damaging. They know these things. The other thing we have to watch out for is the sunken cost fallacy. What is the sunken cost? Well, we've already invested so much time. We can't now, we can't just get the nuclear material and leave. We've got to do more because we spent so much time there. No. If what we've been told was the nuclear material and that they can't have a nuclear weapon, if and when we come into possession of their uranium that's been enriched to 60%, the 1,000 or so pounds that they have, that's it. And that has to be it. Okay? So, hopefully, we get a deal, we get the uranium, we move on back into our own hemisphere. And I want to go on record as saying that right now. That if this thing goes up until Memorial Day, not good. Because that's when, gas usually creeps up. And if this thing is still going towards the end of May, where it is now, if there's resolution and withdrawal and paring down the forces, different story. If this thing is still an active conflict deep into May, closing in on Memorial Day, I'm going to lose a lot of people. I'm just saying. Now, will it be justifiable? And we'll have to wait and see. But we've got, I think we've got an opportunity now. Get that nuclear. If we get the nuclear material, get out. That's it. You may disagree. You may agree. I don't know. All right. Let's do a word from our friends at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. It's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
I'm sure by now you've heard that silver went up 160% last year, 2025. I bought this silver for $22 an ounce. It's now worth almost $100. And we and experts think that silver is going to get up to about $200 an ounce. Palladium and platinum were stuck at $900 an ounce for like over a year. Or in that area. Now they're up over $2,000. Gold is approaching $5,000 an ounce. If you have ever thought about putting some or all of your retirement or nest egg or savings or just buying bullion in precious metals, now's the time to do it. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. That's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Go leave your name, your email, and your phone number. Schedule a time to talk to the folks over at Golden Crest Metals. Get your free gold guide today, and make sure you tune in on Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the Crest Report, where we dive deep into precious metals, why they're doing what they're doing, and where we expect them to go. It is like insider trading. Nancy Pelosi knows about that. We don't. It's just inside information. It's not even really that. It's called knowledge. Get yours today and get a part of gold, silver, palladium, and platinum and diversify your portfolio today. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. I'm going to address a comment. Candy Bogner, why the F are you dunking on Trump? When did I dunk on Trump? You can rewind the show and send it to me in the email. When did I dunk on Trump? Before you say something like that, because what I'm saying might be something that you disagree with, we don't need to run and say that I'm dunking on Trump. I said that I think Donald Trump is justified to get the nuclear material out. I am concerned that there may be the quote-unquote new objective or sunken cost fallacy in Iran. I hope, and I said that Donald Trump and Hegseth appear to me to be people who don't want this to go on forever. Where did I dunk on Trump? So before you start talking like that, maybe listen. And stop reacting emotionally to what I'm saying. Because you know, as well as I do, if you look yourself in the mirror right now, you have concerns about this operation too. Nobody's dunking on Trump here. We were told 4 to 6 weeks, yes or no? Next week, when we get to the 28th, that is 8 weeks. That was what we were told would be the end of the operation. Is it or is it not what we were told? Yes or no? I get it. No plan survives contact with the enemy. I said at the beginning of the show, you could rewind it. Hell, I'll short clip it and put it on loop for some of the people who can't seem to understand what I'm saying. I don't think Trump is failing. I said that. We were told 8 weeks. That's what we were told. That's what I expect because that's what we were told. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Not yeah, but. Am I wrong? Is that what we were told? Yes or no? The answer is yes. That is what we were told. I'm not accusing anyone of lying. I'm concerned. That's all I'm saying. Is being concerned now a foul? Is that a penalty? Because if it is, let me know. Because I want no part of that. Are we not allowed to be concerned about wars? I'm just trying to figure out the rules. I'm ready to write them down. Are we not allowed to be? Are we? Okay, today is April 21st. Are we allowed to be concerned or not? Because that's all I am. I'm concerned, and I it's not panic. I'm not. I also said at the beginning of the show, I'm not asking him to broadcast plans. I want to see in 7 or so days resolution, whether that means bombing them back to the Stone Age or a deal and we get the nuclear equipment. But if you think that on this show we were going to cheerlead for ongoing conflicts that never quite seem to reach its end, that ain't going to happen. I'm not saying that's where we are. Listen, I'm not saying that's where we are. I'm saying I'm concerned that we could wind up there if things don't play out the right way. That's what I'm saying. Okay? That's what I'm saying. I think I'm with Jennifer 1333. At this point, bomb them back to the Stone Age and call it a day. Bomb them back to the Stone Age and call them a day. That's it. That's it. DeClue says, I'm not a bit concerned. Okay. All right. Then and maybe you're not concerned. I am. That's where I'm at. I am getting to the point where we have reached week 6, week 7. We're closing in on the 8th week, and I don't see the end yet. I don't see the light yet. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not going to end. It's very hard to convey that, apparently, that heaven forbid I am concerned that this war might go on for a longer period of time than I'm comfortable with. I just don't want to see that happen. It's not good for us. All right. I think we need to just bomb them into a Stone Age, make them a parking lot, get the nuclear stuff, and get out. Papa Lee. That might be the easiest way to do it. All right. A quick word from our friends over at Silent. Then we're going to laugh at some Democrats because that's what we got to do. SLNT.com/Sean. SLNT.com/SHAWN. SLNT.com/SHAWN. Let's face it. Your phone is a tracking device. Between government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals, they are all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint. And they don't ask, they just go on and take it. That is why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, including cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal means no tracking, no remote access, and no breadcrumbs. It's the same technology trusted by special operations teams around the world, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now, it is available to you, so you can protect your family, you can protect your freedom, and you can secure your digital footprint. Just drop your phone in the Silent Faraday sleeve, and it is off the grid. Completely silent and invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their sleeves to their crossbody, Silent's patented technology gives you total control of your privacy. Just visit slnt.com/Sean to save 15% and get free shipping on qualifying orders. That is slnt.com/Sean. Protect your rights. Secure your data and stay one step ahead. Silent.com, slnt.com, silent.com. Silence the chaos. Go silent today. slnt.com/SHAWN. 15% off and free shipping on qualified orders. slnt.com/Sean. Let's have fun with the unseasoned boiled chicken breasts.
Oh.
They're back.
Oh.
They're back. The Democrats were singing again. Did you know that Trump wants to build an arch in D.C.? Kind of like what they have like in Europe, those like stone arches.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like squared at the top and then it's got the arch in there. So Trump wants to build one of those. And of course, the Democrats are opposed to it because Trump wants to do it. And this is a good question, a good point there. Fanman3RD. This has been going on. He's talking about Iran for my entire life. No more chances. They don't want to do it peacefully. Send them back to the bomb-engineered time machine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Just at this point, do that. The Democrats do not want Donald Trump to build the arch because Donald Trump wants to build it. If anybody else wanted to build it, they'd say it's great. Especially if it's a Democrat, they'd say it's great. All right, here we go. Unseasoned boiled chicken breasts at it again.
Fight, a good fight, with or without your assistance. What the world needs now is love.
Liberal protesters rallying against President Trump's triumphal arch to honor America's 250th birthday. It comes as the design for the 250-foot structure. Look at it. It's beautiful. Received preliminary approval from a federal arts commission. Here to react, Fox.
So they're protesting that arch and they started singing again. Okay. Spartacus. I got to go to Spartacus. Did you see him? This is the one with the button on the suit, holding on for dear life. Hold! This is Spartacus at an event in Michigan, just losing it, going absolutely crazy. Watch this. Cory Booker in Michigan.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a storm in our nation. There is darkness and wind. People are getting hurt. What we need is not from on high. We need foot soldiers of our democracy who in times of trial are willing to stand up. Will you stand for our democracy? Will you stand to get out the vote? Will you stand for our children? Will you stand up for our elders? And will you stand together, unified, strong, be the hope that people need? We are Democrats. It's time for a new deal. It's time to redeem the dream of America.
Well, the crowd liked what they heard, but I don't know. He's got the bug eyes and he's flipping out and we have to be foot soldiers. But you know what? I will give them this little bit of credit. They'll go out and they'll vote. But I mean, come on, look at this guy. Look at what a clown.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a storm in our nation. There is darkness and wind. People are getting hurt. What we need.
It's not written well. There's a storm. There's darkness and wind. Where'd you hear about the storm? Was it on 4chan? That was what Q used to always say. A storm is coming. There's darkness and wind. Darkness and wind, huh? Where'd you learn that? Is that preschool? What, 5th grade writing level there? Darkness and wind. Okay. That's a guy, Spartacus, he's definitely got a mental problem, I would say. Belinda says, cocaine is a terrible drug. I agree. You think that was cocaine? I don't know. Another new deal? How many new deals do they need? I like that too. That was pretty funny. One more. Oh, Kash Patel filed a lawsuit against the Atlantic. They wrote some hit piece that he's drunk all the time, which is weird. I don't think I don't think that one's true. He's going to be he has filed a lawsuit, hopefully wins that one. The Labor Secretary, Lori Chavez-DeRemer, resigned. There's apparently an affair going on. Nothing new in Washington, D.C. That's just unfortunately what goes on there. So she's out. It's not a major position, so Labor Secretary's out. And finally, we gotta do a little. The news cycle's been a little slow. Hopefully it picks up over the course of the next couple of days with the Iran stuff. I agreed with, I think I saw USMD, I forget what the numbers are in there. USD
is
the Marine.
I call him Stinky.
Stinky. Okay. In the chat. No more extensions, no more ceasefires. I think we're all in agreement here. Just bomb them. Bomb Tehran. Whatever gets this done quickly and efficiently, just do it. If they're going to continue to renege on the strait's open, the strait's closed. The strait's open, the strait's closed. We'll have the nukes. You can't have the nukes. You can have it. You can't have it. I'm done with the back and forth. It's time to just impose our will, I think. Just bomb them. If they don't agree. Finally, this was the top story on Red State last night. That's how you know we're in kind of a slow news cycle, despite the fact that Virginia needs to vote no. There's only so many times we could say that. The New York Mets have their longest April losing streak, and apparently this happened as soon as Zoran Mamdani was present in Citi Field, where the Mets play, and met their mascots, Mr. and Mrs. Met. So, is the Mamdani curse real? New York Mets fans would lead you to believe that yes, that the Mamdani curse is real. Even my 14-year-old says enough is enough. Bombs away. I think we're ready to just bomb them. I think we're ready to just, and I hate to say that because I hate to see the innocent Iranian citizens who are going to die from the bombs. But we're at push is coming to shove here. And this may be the easiest way to resolve the conflict once and for all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching and listening. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, rumble.com/LFA TV. Again, I don't want you to think that I don't trust the president, because I do. And I support him, and I support the troops. But if this goes on for another month, I'm going to have a few bones to pick. If it doesn't, I'll be very happy. That's my stance this way. If it does happen, and that becomes my position, it's not going to surprise anybody. Okay? I'm not saying this is going to be a 10-year thing. I'm saying this is hopefully going to resolve over the course of the next couple weeks. And that will be good, and we can move on and get the hell out of the Middle East and get back to winning the midterms. Because whether you want to admit it or not, for the midterms, this war is a losing issue. So hopefully it's over soon. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Appreciate it. Jeremy Harrell up next with Live from America on LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for your attention to this matter.